oh my God, that's Dr. Drew. Or, oh, there's Kelsey Grammer. Like, you know, all these, when you go to the farmer's market.
Or the Grove, yeah.
Yeah, the Grove, yeah, they're always around it. Like, oh, there's, you know, Lady Gaga, there's Gordon Ramsay, there's, you know, there's how, I run into Howie Mandel all the time at the Grove. At this point, we've always looked at each other. We've never talked to each other, but like, he knows me. Because I've seen him so many flipping times. And then Mario Lopez, I can't tell you how many times I've said hi to that guy. And he just will not give it to me. He won't give it to me. They film extra there every single day at the Grove. That's when you look in the background, that's what the Grove looks like. And every day, there's this little guy walking up with all his muscles and his makeup, and I'm like, hey Mario, have a good show. He's like, hey, AC Slater. I remember where you began, son. And so,
in my opinion, you're the world's biggest loser.
So.
The joke. Never too early for jokes.
I kid.
I mock because I care.
So he is from LA.
I'm not from LA. No. He is probably.
Oh, hi. All right. So what kind of questions do you have? What's your name?
Go, gadget question.
Actually, I'm Discord today.
But I like your gadget.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. And this is actually for all three. Okay, you all heard of My Little Pony Magic is Friendship, right?
My Little Pony and what?
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is magic.
Yes, it is magic.
Friendship is magic.
So this is kind of a one part of a half question. I'll explain. If you guys were a pony, what kind of pony would you be? Would you be a Pegasi, a unicorn, an alicorn is accessible, or an earth pony?
Can I be a habercorn?
Okay.
I'm Irish. The Irish Rovers used to sing about the unicorn. Right? You got your green alligators, your long neckies, your humpty-back camels and your chimpanzees, your cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the finest of them all is the unicorn.
The unicorn flies over the river, the unicorn flies over the sea. What about you, Liesl?
I want to be a stallion. You said horse, right?
Stallion.
I don't want to be any of those. I love the My Little Ponies, but I love the stallion. I have since I was a little kid.
Yeah. How you doing?
Megan, did you have anything?
All right, we still got some stuff in the basement.
And if you guys, you know, if one day the show asks you, like, hey, can you do a guest star voice and stuff, would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Will not turn down words.
Most dead.
Thank you very much, Megan. I appreciate that.
One time I got asked the question of like, if Marvel asked you to do the voice of, what was it, Nightcrawler, would you do it? And it's like, if I turned into a giant cookie and came up to you and said, say goodbye, would you do it? Like, well, yeah. And I go, that's my answer.
Only if you were a dashboard cookie, though, right?
Yeah. That's the only way it goes.
All right, hi. Come on over here a second. And your name?
Brandon.
Hello, Brandon. What's your question?
My question is, what are the origins of the last name Haberkorn?
German. And it means, it doesn't mean anything awesome like Liam Neeson assassin or anything like that. But it means wheat and like oat. But hey, you know what? What are some of the main exports of Kansas? Bam, baby! You're exporting Habercorn today.
This is Liam Neeson. We need some Habercorn.
Hurry! Hi, Molly.
Hi.
What kind of question did you have?
I had a question for Todd Habercorn. Most shows follow a very storyline is very straight and point A to point B and stuff. With that in mind, how was Bakano different?
The minute you said it, I knew you were going to say Bakano. Because Bakano is such like a... You got to watch that show twice. That's not the type of show. Here's how my mother, she doesn't do this anymore, or she changed it, but she used to watch television and movies, like, and I know you guys know people that do this, or you do it yourselves, and it's like the most frustrating way to watch it. It's like, I want to make movies for people that do this, where it's like, it shows a scene and then it's black for 10 seconds, and it shows a scene and it's black for 10 seconds, because she'll do laundry as she's watching. So something's happening, she'll look down to fold something, and then she comes up and she goes, so what's happening right now? I go, I don't know, maybe if you watch the other 10 seconds you just missed, you find out. Bakano's not like that. You have got to watch that thing. And it's so fast, and it's so, man, that's a brutal show. That is not a show for kids. But it was great to watch it. I don't fully understand the whole storyline, like every storyline that happens, but I do know the overarching story, and I tried to focus just on what my storyline was. But I thought that was a show that had such a variety of characters in it that, I mean, it's a wild show. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild show. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's hard to get by just upon a show. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So, yeah, it was a fun show.
Thank you, Molly. Hi, come on over here. And your name?
Jacob.
Hi, Jacob. What's your question?
My question is for all of you. Is there any time that like a goof take or sort of a joke take or an inside joke take actually ended up in the script, in the like final product? And
Your name is Jacob, right?
Yeah.
Well, one time during an animated session, I broke into song. I was singing "Jacob's Ladder" by Huey Lewis and the News.
Huey. Quincy and Huey,
Yeah.
I love it.
And that didn't make it.
Don't need money, don't need fame, don't need a credit card.
Yeah,
The power of love. Can you feel it?
oh yeah.
I felt they really came into their own with the sports album.
What's that?
I felt that Huey Lewis and News really came into their own with their sports
You're
album.
right, they did. Well, to answer your question specifically, there's lots of stuff that gets cut out, and sometimes it's their own material. Sometimes we get to add stuff in if we are close to a character and know what he or she might say. They might like that input. And then, of course, other times we screw up or curse or whatever, and then we can't use it, although we have a good laugh.
What about you, Liesl?
I actually don't know because a lot of times, because most of my voice work was done in Japan, and you don't really get to hear the final product a lot of times.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have no, I don't know. There might be some stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, a lot in Sergeant Frog, and a lot of the stuff was improv and stayed in. Like that, my favorite line from episode 9 or 10, Attack of the Covidians, when I talk about Kuvulu and its bleep, the one bleep in the whole series.
The whole bleeping series.
That's right. It's because I improv that line, and the director liked it so much, he kept it. And it's not, I don't think it's the translation. But for those of you that have seen Sergeant Frog, has anyone in here seen it?
Yeah.
You guys have seen it? Oh, okay, so you've seen Sergeant Frog. So you know whenever I jump, I go, Aliupa. You know that part? Anytime I jump, or any kind of leaping or anything, I always go, Aliupa, and I land. That's an old college joke with my buddies and I. And I put that in there because every time we would do something, some sort of like trick or anything, we'd go, Aliupa! And so I put that in there for my buddy Mike. And I called him and I said, I go, dude, you got to check this show out because I threw a little something in there for you. And he totally knew what it was. But we get to do that every now and then. A lot of times there aren't many outtakes or things like that that I do for me personally because I'm trying to focus so much on just getting it right and making sure I'm doing a good job. Especially in LA, you don't really mess around in the booth. You can if you have that type of rapport with the director, but you have to be like working with them extensively, long periods of time, a lot, for that I feel to be comfortable to do that. Typically, I just go in and it's all business, we try to do it. For me, I don't know about Quincy, but...
Well, what I do is, when I screw up big. So if I'm in the middle of a line and I'm messing it up, then I just go into all kinds of gibberish and curse words. And then they laugh, and I laugh, and we laugh. I said, can I do a version of Jacob's Ladder? There you go.
Todd, did you ever work on Shin Chan?
Yes,
How about there? Any?
The writing was already so funny and so good that I bowed down to them. I had nothing to add to it. It was just it's such funny writing, that show. And I got to play the Flamer.
Which he does in real life, people.
So it made sense. it made sense. And so, put a couple different characters there, but Shin Chan was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for your question, sir. Come on up. All right, let me also do a time check right quick here. Make sure we're doing good. You're going to get your question in, I promise. I just want to see how we're doing. All right, we have about 15 minutes, so we'll try to get through these questions. But ladies and gentlemen, please, we're just going to take these questions from here on out for the rest of the hour. All right, hi. Your name, please?
James.
Hi, James. What's your question?
I have a question for Ms. Wilkerson. Now, you've been to Japan quite extensively, but I was wondering if someone was just to go there as a tourist, how much would they have to expect to bring with them?
You're talking about money-wise?
Yeah.
You're a tour guide now.
Well, I will say that you're a little bit luckier now because a year ago the yen exchange rate was $1 to 70 yen. So you would put money in to get exchange, and you would get nothing back. So it's gotten much better. One thing I will say though is if you do go, I would recommend, and I know this sounds strange, but I would take cash, not traveler's checks as much, because Japan is very much of a cash society, and there are not that many banks that can cash in traveler checks, but it depends. It depends on what you wanted to do, and what you're going to be eating, and if you're just going to be having ramen every day to kind of save money or whatever, then you won't need as much. But if you're really going to go and experience some good sushi restaurants and stuff like that, you will need a little more. If you do plan on going to Japan, you can find me on Facebook at any time and ask me more questions about this. But yeah, you will. It is pricey.
So bring money and your fists.
And your sense of humor, because you will find yourself in some very strange situations.
Is there a rail pass you can buy?
There is, but you can only buy that here. So if you do go to Japan, make sure you do all your research beforehand, because you can't find a rail pass in Japan. You can't buy it there.
There you
so,
go. Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, definitely Google online. There's a lot of great websites. I think there's one called JapanToday.com. A lot of other websites that give you all kinds of good travel information, and you can always ask me if you want.
She's a great Facebook friend as well. I highly recommend her. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
All right, come on over.
Okay.
All right, your name, sir?
Eka.
All right, and your question, please.
All three of you. Ever since the anime that you guys have worked on, what was the first anime that you guys watched?
The first anime that we watched. Liesl?
Candy.
Candy?
Candy. I don't think that ever came here to the States, but yeah.
No, candy's everywhere. There's candy right outside.
No, candy.
Oh, candy, okay.
I remember the board game Candyland.
I do too, that was my favorite board game.
I like that and Shoots and Ladders.
In fact, I thought that Japan was going to be Candyland. That's what my parents told me when we moved out there. Said, oh, you know Candyland? Japan will be exactly like that. It was a little different, but...
There were three of them growing up. There was Speed Racer, there was Kimba, the White Lion, and there was Astro Boy. Astro Boy, if you didn't know it, he flew around. He had a black little helmet with pointy ears, and he had rockets that shot out of his feet. So he didn't really have feet, but he had rocket legs. And Kimba the White Lion was so powerful, if you watch the poorly done animation, that Kimba actually moves. You gotta watch this, it's visual. Okay, the Earth is underneath Kimba. There's a stationary picture on Kimba, and Kimba's going like this the whole time, and the scenery is moving. So Kimba is actually rotating the entire Earth.
He's very powerful. For me, it was Vampire Hunter D, Techno Man, and which Epcar's in, and then I guess I didn't know this at the time, but Voltron. Yeah. I just thought the dub is horrible. The voice acting is so bad in Voltron. But it had giant robots.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your question.
Thanks.
Come on over. Hi. Good morning. What's your name?
Kaylana.
Hey, Kaylana. What's your question?
Okay, this is for all three of you guys. I know that you guys get a lot of gifts from fans. What is the creepiest gift you got from fans?
Creepiest gift you've ever received from fans?
Oh, creepiest?
Yes.
I know, I'm still waiting on it.
Something taken from my home without my knowledge and then sent to me. No. A 3D printing of a full body me coming in the mail. I was like, who did this? I'm like, Mignana. Let's see. Creepiest gift? Partially eaten food that as a gift, but I guess they made it and they were so in love with what they had made, they had to try it. So I mean, partially eaten food is usually the one, and it's poorly wrapped. Now, the reason that I don't trust it is because when you're a kid, obviously, you don't eat Halloween candy where you don't know where it came from. And if you can't see how it was wrapped, you shouldn't eat the Halloween candy. So I kept that lesson growing up. And so when I see food that is poorly wrapped, I think back to my respect for food. And I think if there's no respect in wrapping it, I probably shouldn't put it in this place that I respect so much. My eyeball. So, yeah.
I don't believe I've received anything creepy yet. Contrary to popular belief, I haven't gotten a lot of gifts, and I'm okay with that. The ones I've gotten have been lovely. The ones I've not been able to ingest, I have shared with others.
I haven't actually really gotten that many gifts either. But one time, it was actually a fan of my radio show, and he sent me a handwritten letter to the radio station, which is not weird, of course, but he sent me this love letter using Sade. You know the singer Sade. It was just when her album would come out, and he was using her lyrics. And then
you're giving me the sweetest
taboo. Oh, maybe it's the Love Deluxe album.
Oh.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes, exactly. And then at the end he wrote, "We are in love, what shall we do? I will meet you at Hutchko," which is like a really popular place to meet people. "I will meet you at Hutchko at 7:45 p.m. kind of thing. So basically I always pass through Hutchko around that time. So it was kind of creepy because he had been watching me, I think, because how would he have known otherwise? So yeah, so that was kind of creepy. And he wanted to give me a gift. Obviously I didn't go. But yeah, that would be my creepy story.
Come on over. Hi, what's your name?
Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. What's your question this morning?
It's for Todd. Do you remember the Mr. Knickerbocker song?
Of course I remember Mr. Knickerbocker. That was, it's funny, I get two questions the most. I said, do you remember Mr. Knickerbocker, and why did you do Mr. Knickerbocker? And you gotta remember at the time, Barney was huge. Barney's like the biggest, Barney was the biggest kid show there was. And so when I got asked to, I didn't even audition for that. They called me and asked me to do it. When I got asked to do that, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, because Mr. Knickerbocker has always been sung about, but he was never seen on camera before I did it. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. It's right past the Pickle Palace. And so I meant, if you know Mr. Knickerbocker, he talks about the Pickle Palace, just FYI.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about that.
Yeah, he meant it, but he sends the kids off to the Pickle Palace. He goes, hey, you're looking for something, what you're looking for is right next to the Pickle Palace. And that's where he trust this strange 8-foot tall blue and gold guy to tell you that what you're looking for is past the Pickle Palace. And so it was fun to work on Barney. It was interesting to see the process. So you've got Barney right here, but you've got his voice coming off of speakers because the guy that's doing the voice is in a tent on the other side of the set, watching on a monitor. So all the dinosaurs and the subsidiary dinosaurs like Baby Bop and things like that were there. When they take their heads off, they're middle-aged dwarves. And so it's kind of like, he's like, hi, you did it. And then their heads come, I was like, yeah, that was a good take. I'm like, Baby Bop. But it was cool to do. It was fun to see. We shot it 5 camera, 2 cameras on a crane, and you know, 3 on the ground. So we did the song quite a few times. It was tricky for me because they want me to do all these dance moves, but I'm in stilts. And so I'm like 9 feet tall trying to do these same moves that everyone else is doing, but they're not stilts. Also, it's a very windy day, and it's not on even ground. This is on grass and dirt and things like that, and we're on a hill. So I'm having to like, okay, this could be the very last job I ever do. And so having to do that, and the one thing that I didn't like, I loved everything about it. Everyone was super nice. The one thing I didn't like was how they treated the elephants on set. The elephants are just hanging out and like doing their thing, and like they see, you know, grass and things that tickle pals. They see grass and things like that, so they're wrapping their snouts around it. It's part of the set, but they're like, oh, grass, and they're trying to get it. Well, this guy, his handler has this like poker that you use for fireplaces. He's like ramming it in his mouth, and I'm like, what are you, dude? Up here, what are you doing? And so I got mad at that. But other than that, everyone was really nice, and I think that guy got fired after that, because I mean, you don't. That's how you teach an elephant. You take a fire poker and you like stab him with it like that. Then he's gonna turn around and eat you. And so I would have totally supported that if he like wrapped his tentacle around or his trunk around, lifted it into his mouth. The guy's like, crunch. Like, tastes like marshmallows.
A little elephant hentai for you.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, I think I read about that about 10 years later, because, you know, elephants never forget, and I think there was a knock on that guy's door.
He's like, remember me.
Got your poker man right here. Well, thank you very much for your question. Before we say goodbye to our guests here, I have a quick announcement from the staff. They would like you to know that every hour to check up front for door prizes, because they're giving away prizes throughout the day. They have a board with might have your name on it. If it does, you've won something. So please go by registration to see if you won something. Also, as you know, we have a charity auction, and half the money that is being raised for a charity is going to the Red Cross, and the other half will be going to the Stan Lee Foundation. And that charity auction is at 11:30 to 1 in room 210, which is exactly the same time as the autograph. So, there you have that. Now, having given those information to you, let us give another great round of applause here for our wonderful guests.
Thank you.
And they will be around for the rest of the day doing different things.
We were actually going to be signing autographs in about 7 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
Are we across the hall again, Katie?
Peace and love.
208.
Peace and love.
Peace and love to you all. If we see you, great. If we don't, we'll see you again. Hey?
Thank you so much.